Close your eyes and let the walls, the ceiling, the traffic beyond the window dissolve into a low and distant hum. In that hush, place a single statement and listen to its echo inside the ribcage. I am beloved. Not I will be or I hope to be, but I am, spoken as a present fact, declared with the quiet authority of someone announcing the sunrise. That shift from future tense to present tense is not a matter of style. It is the hinge on which the whole art of conscious creation turns. The mind that says, I will be loved, keeps desire dangling like a lantern at the end of a long corridor. The mind that says, I am loved, collapses the corridor, brings the lantern to the heart, and lights the room from within. Think of identity as the master password to reality's operating system. Every belief, perception, and outer event arranges itself in loyal service to the name you answer to. Say, I am cherished often enough, and life begins handing you evidence to confirm your declaration. Just as search algorithms flood your screen with ads that match yesterday's clicks, skeptics protest that words cannot erase years of loneliness. Yet those years live nowhere but in the present memory. And memory itself is a living, malleable process. Alter the process, and the record alters with it. You do not fight the past, you simply replace the projector slide. Begin with 5 unrushed minutes of inner rehearsal. Sit upright so drowsiness does not steal the experiment. Breathe as though exhaling a long-held sigh. Whisper inwardly, I am beloved, I am chosen, I am the delight of perfect union. Let the words pour like warm honey rather than march like soldiers. Between repetitions, notice tiny shifts, shoulders loosening, jaw unclenching, breath deepening. Those bodily changes are signals that the subconscious, guardian of habit, is opening the gate. Now translate language into image. A brief scene works best, for brevity concentrates power. Imagine standing at your own doorway while someone whose presence thrills you enters with a smile meant only for you. Hear their shoes on the floorboards. Feel the weight of a tender embrace. Catch the faint aroma of rain still clinging to their coat. Keep the clip to 10 seconds, rich in sensory texture, yet short enough to repeat without strain. 5 or 6 loops are plenty. When the scene feels as real as last night's dinner, release it. And trust the deeper mind to gestate the seed. Trust is crucial because the temptation to check for results is the surest way to uproot the planting. Staring at the soil declares, I am doubtful. Consciousness obeys the stronger claim, not the louder wish. Therefore, whenever impatience tugs, turn inward for half a breath. Rest in I am cherished and resume the day. That tiny reset is rehearsal, and rehearsal is mastery. If a painful memory intrudes, a cold silence, a message that never arrived, use revision. Play the scene again, but let the silence become laughter, the blank screen glow with affectionate words. Feel the relief settle into your nerves, as though the revision were the only version that ever happened. The nervous system records impressions, not chronology. Give it a new impression and it will file the past accordingly, freeing the future to follow suit. Carry your chosen identity into humble moments. While brushing teeth, imagine preparing the smile that a loved one adores. While selecting clothes, picture appreciative eyes tracing the fabric. While commuting, rest a sliver of awareness on the certainty that somewhere, even now, affection is moving toward you. These micro acts weave the feeling into muscle memory until confidence stops being a mood and becomes your resting pulse. Modern neuroscience confirms what mystics knew: sustained self-concept reshapes synaptic pathways and hormonal rhythms. After a few weeks of faithful practice, you may notice strangers offering help, conversations unfolding with surprising warmth, invitations appearing without effort. Accept each echo with gratitude, but keep allegiance with the source inside. Outer events are reflections, useful, delightful, but never the origin. Should doubt balloon despite these measures, use the breath as anchor. Inhale on I am, exhale on beloved. 10 cycles dissolve mental static, dropping awareness from forehead to chest, where feeling lives. Spoken without feeling, words remain ink. Fused with feeling, they become law. Guard the seed through secrecy. Resist the urge to broadcast your new stance for validation. Early sprouts thrive in the dark. Premature exposure invites contrary opinions that can trample delicate roots. Let results speak when they bloom. They will shout louder than any verbal testimony. Remember, you are not conjuring affection out of thin air. You are tuning consciousness to a frequency already alive in the infinite spectrum of possibility. A radio dial does not create music. It selects the band that was playing all along. Declare the frequency, inhabit its emotional tone, and the matching broadcast finds you unbidden. Persist, not with strained effort, but with gentle constancy, the way a hearth maintains fire by welcoming fresh logs. One day, the imagined doorway scene will unfold in waking life, perhaps altered in detail but unmistakable in essence, and you will smile at the seamlessness of the transition. Experience will have confirmed what the inner ear already knew. Identity is destiny, and the simple, dignified utterance, I am beloved, carries creative authority over the fabric of the world. Hold your desire like a lamp cupped in both hands, and step into the hush where inner pictures are born. The mind is a stage that can mount an entire universe, yet its most potent dramas are brief, almost fragmentary. That is why the next movement in the art of conscious creation is to choose a single, vivid scene whose enactment would be utterly impossible unless your wish were already fact. The power lies in its specificity and concision. When you compress an outcome into 10 living seconds, you concentrate emotional voltage the way a lens focuses sunlight into flame. Length invites wandering thought. Brevity captures attention, fixes feeling, and imprints the deeper mind with laser clarity. Begin by asking one simple question. What would I be doing, or what would another be doing to me, if this desire were fulfilled right now? Let the answer rise not from logic, but from spontaneous intuition. Perhaps you see a friend's face lighting up as they exclaim, "You look so happy together." Maybe you feel the gentle weight of an engagement band turning on your finger under warm light. It could be no more than hearing your name spoken with affection from the lips of the one you adore. Whatever emerges first, seize it. First impressions carry the signature of authenticity. Do not crowd the stage with secondary details. No lengthy backstory. No rehearsing of obstacles overcome. The subconscious does not require exposition. It understands symbols, gestures, and tones far better than it grasps elaborate scripts. Having chosen the scene, rehearse each sense as though it were an actor taking direction. What is touching your skin? The cool metal of the ring, the softness of a hand, the texture of linen beneath your palm. What fragrances hover in the air? Rain on dust, fresh coffee, faint gardenias. What sounds confirm the reality of this moment? Laughter down the hallway, a heartbeat in your ear, the low hum of city life through a cracked window. Taste the after sip of celebration. See the quiet sheen in your lover's eyes. Feel the minute pulse of mutual delight passing between ribs. Engage the senses, not as an observer, but in first person. You are not watching a film of yourself. You are living the experience from within the body that already possesses it. Reduce the clip to a loop that can be played 5 or 6 times without mental fatigue. 10 to 15 seconds is ideal. Think of it like a GIF that perpetually affirms the wish as accomplished. The short duration guards against the drift of intrusive doubts. There is no space for contradiction to slip in. Each loop deepens the groove, like turning a key in soft wax, until the impression remains when the key is lifted. Now attend to the most critical ingredient, the emotional tone. Words and pictures alone are empty scaffolding unless animated by feeling. Draw the inward breath of triumph, security, serenity, whatever emotion would naturally accompany your fulfilled desire. Let that emotion color every pixel of the scene. It is the fragrance that makes the petals real. If, in the hush of imagination, a thrill runs down your spine, or a gentle warmth spreads across your chest, you know you have contacted the living essence. Remain there until the feeling eclipses awareness of the outer room. You may open your eyes and still sense that hush glowing behind everything you see. That residue is proof the seed has taken. Once the scene and feeling fuse, release them into the silent region that lies just before sleep or just after waking. This trans-thin boundary is neutral ground where conscious intention slides unresisted into the formative depths. Let the scene float unforced, like a feather settling on still water. Straining is counterproductive. Effort telegraphs doubt, and doubt instructs the deeper mind to cancel the order. Approach the clip the way a child drifts into a daydream, delightedly, with no thought of manipulation. The moment it feels natural, surrender to sleep or return gently to daytime tasks, trusting the inner workshop to fashion the outer bridge. Throughout the day, touch the scene for 1 or 2 heartbeats, whenever surroundings permit. Standing in line, waiting for a page to load, riding an elevator, each micro pause is an aperture through which you may reaffirm the fulfilled moment. Think of these flashes as watering a seedling, brief, consistent moisture, rather than a single drenching flood. The scene should never become rote. Freshen it with a spark of gratitude or a whispered thank you felt in the marrow. Gratitude implies reception, and implication molds fact. Guard against the mind's urge to expand the clip into commentary. But what if the proposal happens at a different restaurant? What if my friend doesn't use those exact words? Such chatter shackles imagination to contingency and bleeds potency. Remember, you are selecting a symbol, not forecasting literal headlines. If life delivers an equivalent scene with different props, you will recognize the essence and smile at the fidelity of the law. When contrary evidence flashes in the world, an argument, an answered message, pause, exhale, and replay the scene once. Let its emotional fragrance override the disturbance like ink pouring over faint pencil marks. External facts are echoes of prior states. Attend to them only long enough to note they are outdated. The moment you refresh the inner picture, you issue a new master instruction, and the echo chamber of experience will adjust its pitch accordingly. If you feel tempted to share your imaginal exercise for reassurance, resist until the scene has manifested. Early disclosure exposes the tender shoot to winds of second-hand skepticism. Silence is the greenhouse of confidence. Let outcomes speak in their own time. Those outcomes, when they arise, will often bear uncanny resemblance to your 10-second clip. A sentence overheard will mirror your rehearsed line, or the angle of light will match the hue you painted in mind. In that instant, you will comprehend how the world is but a resonant canvas, echoing the stroke of inner brushes. The value of this practice extends far beyond one relationship. By honing the skill of crafting brief, sense-rich scenes, you learn to sculpt every sphere of life: health, wealth, creative success. Because the principle is universal. Choose a concise representation of the end, feel it real, and allow the unseen currents to arrange the necessary sequence of events. But discipline cultivates focus, emotional mastery, and intuitive listening, qualities that weave into your character, whether or not you consciously apply them. Soon the border between formal sessions and casual reverie dissolves, and imagination operates as a continuous prayer without ceasing, forever selecting the noblest possibilities and ushering them into form. Close your eyes and step inside the invisible studio, where reality's costumes are fitted before the curtain rises. In this place, you possess a faculty more powerful than any outer instrument, the inner senses. They are the unseen twins of sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, capable of rehearsing tomorrow's experience with such fidelity that the world must later imitate the rehearsal. Most people keep these inner senses idle, like exquisite musical instruments gathering dust in a silent room. Wake them, and you discover that the boundary between meditation and manifestation is only the thickness of a thought. Begin with sight, the sovereign of the troupe. Imagine the scene that proves your desire fulfilled. 2 coffee cups on a table for one now shared. A soft blow on a ring that catches candlelight. The gracious curve of a smile meant solely for you. Do not view the frame as though watching a film of someone else. Stand inside it, seeing through your own eyes. Notice the play of shadow and light, the colors sharpened by emotion. If your mind shows you a blurred image, do not fret. Pause, breathe gently, and let the picture grow clear, the way dawn unwraps a landscape. Vision becomes vivid when tension subsides. Invite hearing to join the stage. Sound has weight in the world of feeling. Listen for the subtle lilt in a partner's laughter, the timbre of a voice calling you by an enduring name, the murmur of traffic beyond the window that tells you the city itself is unconsciously witnessing your joy. Let the moment swell until tone and cadence feel unmistakably real. Whisper a reply and hear it returned. The ear of imagination records vibrations the outer ear has not yet received, and consciousness obliges by finding a matching echo in physical events. Now rouse touch, the most neglected herald of certainty. Feel the gentle pressure of fingers interlacing with yours, the temperature difference where palm meets palm, the soft brush of fabric against your forearm as 2 bodies lean closer to whisper confidences. Texture is convincing. It anchors a scene faster than any other sense. Trace the smooth metal of that symbolic ring, or the slight pulse where a head rests on your shoulder. Let goose flesh tingle along your skin while stillness surrounds you in the room. The nervous system does not distinguish between remembered, present, and imagined stimuli. Give it convincing signals, and it will broadcast them to every cell. Taste may seem irrelevant to love, yet bring it aboard and you add a note of intimacy. Perhaps you savor the faint sweetness of dessert shared off one fork, or the mineral hint of rain-kissed lips after a walk under clouded skies. Taste is primal, rooted in survival. Include it and you stamp the scene upon instinct itself. The subconscious treasures instinctive impressions and works tirelessly to repeat them. Finally, summons smell, the oldest messenger of memory. Inhale the perfume of blooming night jasmine drifting through an open balcony door. The comforting aroma of fresh linen, the faint spice of a partner's cologne warmed by skin. Scent bypasses rational commentary and drops sensation directly into the limbic heart of being, where it flowers into emotion. One whiff in imagination is enough to persuade the body that the scene is happening, not hoped for. When all 5 senses converse together, you have established a living hologram. Hold it for no more than 10 seconds. That brevity is deliberate. The mind can maintain intensity only in short bursts. And intensity is the signature the subconscious reads as command. Repeat the loop 3 or 4 times, then release it. Release is not abandonment. Release is trust. By letting go, you declare that your creation requires no further convincing, that it already breathes beneath the surface like a pearl, shell opening in the dark sea. Carry fragments of this sensory masterpiece into idle moments throughout the day. Waiting for an elevator, replay the feel of interlaced fingers. Standing at the sink, hear your name spoken with tenderness. Glancing at the sky, see the same shade of blue you wove into your imaginal restaurant scene. These micro-rehearsals irrigate the seed with feeling-charged attention, yet they cost no time and raise no suspicion from the analytical mind. Should outer circumstances offer evidence contrary to your inner vision, a curt message, a lonely evening, treat them as outdated newsprint. They report yesterday's thoughts, not today's decision. In that instant, return to one sense. Perhaps brush thumb against forefinger and remember the ring, or silently breathe the imagined fragrance of night jasmine. The simple act reasserts the primacy of inner perception, external facts. Embarrassed to contradict the stronger premise, will quietly reshape themselves. If doubt whispers that you are merely pretending, acknowledge the whisper without wrestling it. Doubt is only the echo of an old sensory diet. Feed the senses new impressions and doubt grows malnourished. With practice, you will notice spontaneous flashes of the fulfilled mood appearing unbidden. You wake with a smile whose cause you cannot name, or you catch yourself humming a tune that feels like a lover's arrival. These are stirrings of the deeper mind, aligning physiology with the accepted seed. Educate yourself further by setting small sensory experiments. Imagine the scent of oranges during an evening walk and observe how often an orange-like aroma passes your nose within 24 hours. Picture hearing your name from an unusual accent, then note the day it occurs. These minor proofs build faith through direct experience, bypassing philosophical argument. The more you confirm that inner senses precede outer events, the easier it becomes to entrust them with larger affairs of the heart. Persist, not with grit but with gentle delight. The world is a faithful mirror, yet it reflects slowly enough to allow refinement. Continue polishing the image until it shines. When the physical seam arrives, and it will, you will recognize every nuance. The ring's weight, the last cadence, the fragrance in the air. In that instant, you will know that nothing entered your life uninvited, and that mastery of the senses is mastery of destiny. Allow the heavy lids of the day to soften, while you sit or lie in a posture that invites neither stiffness nor collapse. The body must be comfortable enough to fade from notice, yet not so comfortable that consciousness drops into dreamless dark. Before the essential work is done, quiet room, dim light, and the hush that follows a sigh prepare the ground, but the real sanctuary is formed when attention withdraws from passing thoughts and settles upon the short, imaginal scene you shaped earlier. The one so concise it fits into 10 heartbeats, and yet so potent it could stand as irrefutable evidence of your wish fulfilled. Gaze upon that inner clip, as though it were a jewel you intend to place beneath the soil of your mind. Begin by replaying the scene once with full alertness, noticing every sensory filament, the timbre of laughter, the firmness of a hand in yours, the faint glow of lamplight gilding skin. Hold it until it tingles with immediacy. Then release all effort except the silent watchfulness that observes the first gentle ebb of wakefulness. You will notice the subtle tipping point, when the outer world feels wrapped in cotton, when sounds grow dim and the limbs acquire pleasant weight. This threshold is the coveted state akin to sleep, a liminal corridor where critical reasoning stands guard less fiercely and suggestion slips into the subconscious as easily as breath fills lungs. At that juncture, let the scene repeat on its own gentle momentum, almost like a lullaby sung by the mind to the deeper mind. Resist the urge to steer or embellish. Conscious interference is a bright torch that drives the receptive depths back into shadow. Should stray thoughts intrude, agenda items, half-formed worries, acknowledge them as you might note to a passerby, then return to the living picture without a ripple of self-chastisement. Chiding yourself only reawakens vigilance. The objective is a relaxed fascination, a childlike absorption that lets images play across the inner screen while your awareness hovers, neither fully awake nor yet surrendered to sleep. As the body's defenses dissolve, something remarkable occurs. Physiological reactions begin to mirror the imagined event. The heart may quicken with the emotion of reunion. Cheeks might flush with the warmth of shared affection. A faint smile may curve unbidden. These responses signal that the subconscious has accepted the scene as present reality. In that instant, the seed sinks into the fertile darkness where habits, impulses, and eventual circumstances take root. You need do nothing more intensive than allow the process to complete itself. For the mechanics of germination are beyond conscious technique. Before letting go entirely, breathe once through the feeling tone of the scene. Joy, security, tenderness, and notice how it colors the whole field of awareness. That hue is the vibratory signature. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at helpopenai.com. Dawn is the silent architect of destiny. The instant eyelids lift, awareness stands on a threshold where it can either retreat into yesterday's limitations or stride forward into the rich certainty of a wish already fulfilled. Last night, in the hush between thoughts, you rehearsed a scene that proved love was yours. Now, before the mind remembers alarms or notifications, seize that glowing memory like a coal and breathe life into it. Guard the coal from stray worries. For whatever dominates the first minute rules the hours that follow. Remain beneath the covers for 3 deliberate breaths. Draw one crisp detail from the scene, the warmth of intertwined fingers, the sparkle of a ring, the echo of affectionate laughter. As lungs rise and fall, let that single detail spread color through muscle, blood, and nerve. This is no idle fantasy. It is the primer coat on the canvas of experience. Mood is clay, sensation the wheel that shapes it. By the third exhale, the body should already hum with the confidence of the beloved. Let confidence fill you completely now. When feet touch the floor, imagine the planks reverberating with companionship's cadence. Each step is a tacit proclamation. I walk as the cherished. Posture lengthens, shoulders settle back, breath deepens. Hormones read posture the way sailors read wind, launching biochemical tides that summon matching events. Physiology, psychology, and circumstance kneel before the throne of assumed identity. Build that throne sturdy by walking, dressing, and speaking as one who already owns the treasure. Small signals compound into a broadcast the world is compelled to echo. At the mirror, reject old habits of critique. Greet the reflection as an ally shining back confirmation. Whisper inwardly, thank you, not to the glass, but the invisible intelligence coordinating mirrors, messages, and meetings. Gratitude seals ownership. It proclaims the gift has arrived. When water splashes your face, imagine it rinsing away every memory of being unnoticed, leaving only the glow of fulfilled affection on the skin. Even toothpaste foams with symbolism. Let its sparkle remind you of a smile now warmed by love's certainty. Breakfast becomes rehearsal, disguised as routine. Sip tea as though a partner poured it. Taste toast as though it follows a night of celebratory dancing. Let soft conversation flicker at the edge of hearing, casual words that can exist only in an atmosphere of secure love. You are not scripting the world in rigid lines. You are selecting the emotional frequency it must broadcast. Nerves adopt that frequency in seconds, and reality's stage crew begins rearranging props to match, often through the most ordinary of avenues. While commuting or sorting emails, practice gentle vigilance. Thoughts wander like puppies, guide them without scolding. A single anchor phrase, all unfolds from fulfillment, repeated in rhythm with footsteps, keystrokes, or engine hum. Keeps orientation steady, the way a compass needle settles toward north. This is relaxed remembering, not braced affirmation. Headlines may contradict your stance, yet contradictions are echoes from prior assumptions, and echoes fade before fresh sound. Remember, attention left idle will default to the program it ran yesterday. A gardener who ceases watering only invites weeds. Therefore, schedule small pauses, perhaps at every doorway, to touch the anchor phrase, refreshing the garden's soil of belief. If a message goes unanswered or an acquaintance voices skepticism, observe the pang, acknowledge it, then take a 2-second breath, steeped in your imaginal detail. One flash of the ring or that delighted laugh realigns the compass. Persistence is measured by speed of return, not length of meditation. Swift pivots compress the interval between state and evidence, shortening the bridge incidents must travel before arriving at your door. Treat each disruption as a drill, an opportunity to prove mastery rather than as proof of failure. Just as muscles strengthen through repeated contraction, conviction strengthens through each graceful return to the desired state. Guard the mind's diet. Inner conversations are seeds that cannot choose but sprout. If dialogue slides into lack, questions of delay, or fears of rejection, solemnate immediately. Imagine thanking a friend for celebrating your happy news, or hear yourself describing how naturally the relationship blossomed. Silent words stamp the subconscious as boldly as shouted speech. Populate the internal auditorium with success stories until doubt has no seat to claim and gossip of failure finds the doors locked. Employ sensory anchors. A discreet necklace, a signature fragrance, even a favorite melody can tether attention to fulfillment. Each brush of metal against skin, each waft of aroma, each chorus of the song presses play on the emotional memory of union. Anchors are portable portals. They rescue awareness from the undertow of habit and raise it to the bright plateau of assumption with minimal effort and perfect secrecy. Use them often, but lightly, like tapping a tuning fork. Evening evaluation concerns inner weather, not outer headlines. If fulfillment ruled more minutes than absence, praise yourself. Self-approval is fertile soil. Where you slipped, revise. Replay the day as it ought to have been. Feel the corrected memory settle and fall asleep cradling victory. Night seals revision, morning revives the feeling, and the cycle repeats until visible facts match the inner record. In time, the practice becomes automatic, and strangers will notice a quiet radiance they cannot name, unaware they are witnessing imagination made flesh. Observe the gentle unfolding of events around you as if they were bricks laid out to carry you across an unseen stream. A neighbor's unexpected greeting in the hallway, a message arriving just when you needed reassurance, or an impulse to step into a new cafe. All these are not random acts, but elements of an unseen architecture shaped by your own assumption. When you train yourself to seek these planks, you affirm that life reflects the feelings held in the sanctuary of imagination. Each noticed synchronicity strengthens the bridge between your inner conviction and the reality you experience, turning chance into a deliberate guide forward. Begin each morning by cultivating quiet receptivity. Before habitual thoughts crowd your mind, pause to breathe deeply 2 or 3 times. As you inhale, think, I am open to guidance. And as you exhale, release any need to control. Then ask inwardly, what synchronicities will confirm my certainty today? Carry this gentle question through routine tasks, making coffee, tying shoes, skimming headlines, and remain attuned to small wonders. A phrase on a billboard that resonates, a song drifting through an open window, or a sudden urge to revisit a familiar street. These signs are invitations to the next plank of your fulfilled desire. Keep a simple record of every occurrence. When a chance message pings into your inbox, a friend calls unexpectedly, or a soft intuition stirs, jot down the moment, the emotion it carried, and your response. Over days, patterns emerge like constellations, revealing how your desires map onto the world around you. You might discover that a surge of confidence precedes valuable advice, or that a fleeting curiosity opens doors to fresh alliance. Recording these experiences cements your trust in the unseen framework and signals to your subconscious that such alignments deserve your full attention and gratitude. In doing so, you transform ephemeral coincidences into tangible evidence of the bridge being built. When a plank reveals itself, step onto it without hesitation. If an unexpected invitation arrives, accept it as though it were arranged by your heartfelt desire, trusting the resonance in your body's subtle yes. If a fleeting thought urges you to explore a gallery, make a phone call to an old acquaintance, or wander into nature, follow it calmly and without analysis. Feel the momentum that arises as you act, the quickening of your heartbeat, the soft widening of perception, the flow of possibility becoming tangible. Action is the proof of conviction. By moving across these planks, you convert possibility into real events. Trust that your impulses are deliberate signposts from your inner workshop, and know that each step you take co-creates the unfolding narrative, weaving imagination and action into a seamless reality. Resist the whisper of doubt that bids you analyze or delay these moments of guidance. Skepticism threatens to dismantle the very planks you have laid, reducing them to abandoned thoughts. When uncertainty surfaces, pause and place your hand over your heart. Inhale slowly on the phrase, "I am guided," allowing the air to fill your chest with warmth. Then exhale into the sensation of having already achieved your desire. Notice how your physiology shifts. Shoulders relax, heartbeat steadies, mind clears. This brief ritual realigns your awareness with the certainty you rehearsed, reinforcing the bridge you are building. As this practice becomes a habit, navigating guidance grows effortless, and trust flows naturally through each synchronicity, allowing you to walk with confidence on the path you have designed. Notice how this practice sharpens intuition across all areas of life. A casual remark in conversation may spark the idea that advances your work. A random click on a link could lead you to a mentor whose insight reshapes your path. Recognize these events not as accidents, but as dialogues between your inner state and the world. Each synchronicity is a lesson in partnership with unseen forces, demonstrating that reality echoes the assumptions you embody. As your awareness deepens, you will navigate life with greater ease, moving in harmony with a silent script authored by your conviction. Weave this awareness into every facet of your existence, so that life itself becomes your laboratory in conscious creation. While working, notice a sudden insight that resolves a long-standing problem or sparks a breakthrough idea. In finances, a random tip might lead you to a new investment or an opportunity for prosperity. During exercise, observe how an impulse toward a different route or a new workout routine revitalizes you in unexpected ways. In creative pursuits, a fleeting mental image may blossom into a full-fledged project that delights both you and others. Even health can reflect this principle, as small intuitive choices, choosing a particular meal, resting at just the right moment, contribute to well-being. By acknowledging the artistry behind these everyday miracles, you shift from passive observer to active co-creator, reinforcing the bridge with each intentional act. Allow patience to bind each plank until the bridge stands firm. Do not demand a swift crossing, for timing is as essential as design. Trust that every coincidence arrives when conditions are ripe to support it. Find contentment in the deliberate placement of each piece, knowing that small alignments accumulate into profound breakthroughs. When a significant manifestation finally appears, look back and recognize the pattern of minor coincidences that led to it. Through this practice, you become both architect and craftsman of your destiny, guided by the steady rhythm of assumption and synchronicity. Sometimes the mind returns to old scenes as though replaying a film loop. Moments when love withdrew, words hung in mid-air, or a gentle invitation slipped through your grasp. You feel the echo of those scenes in body and mind, a hollow thump in the chest, the tightening of shoulders, the whisper of doubt in every gesture. Instead of resisting or turning away, Lean in and observe the memory in full clarity. See how it plays out, how every detail settles into your nervous system as an unquestioned fact. Then, with deliberate intention, press pause and imagine a different ending, one that confirms your desire rather than negates it. Picture yourself stepping into that revised film, playing the lead role in a scene tailored to your conscious intent. In this new version, a friend's arm reaches across the table with warmth rather than retreat. A letter arrives stamped with affection instead of silence. A familiar street corner becomes the stage for a whispered confession of devotion. As you fashion this alternative past, include every sensory nuance. Sounds, textures, colors, even the faintest fragrance that would accompany your fulfilled wish. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what was and what is vividly imagined as real, and it archives the emotion more than the literal sequence of events. Hold this revised memory in your awareness until its feeling tone eclipses the original wound. Let the tender hum of contentment replace the old ache. If images of the former scenario flicker at the edges, welcome them without judgment, but immediately turn attention back to the corrected vision. Repeat this cycle until the new scene feels as concrete as a photograph in your hand. You are not denying the past. You are editing its record so that your identity and your future align with the outcome you wish to experience. Each night, as the body drifts towards sleep, replay the revised clip one last time. The border between wakefulness and slumber is a fertile, liminal zone where conscious intentions slip easily into the deeper mind. In this state, the revised script is deposited like a seed into the soil of your subconscious. It germinates quietly, sending roots into every corner of your mental landscape. The next morning, you may awaken with a subtle shift in mood, lighter, more expansive, free from the gravity of old disappointments. During the day, treat every twinge of remembered sorrow as an opportunity to practice revision in miniature. If a thought of, "I was rejected," surfaces, counter it with its edited counterpart, "I am embraced and celebrated." Convey the new version in a single, powerful sentence and feel its resonance in your heart. Even a 2-second acknowledgement backed by genuine feeling sends a clearer instruction to the subconscious than hours of neutral thinking. Over time, these micro-revisions accumulate, reshaping your emotional baseline and reorienting your habitual responses toward expectation rather than fear. When resistance arises, perhaps memories so entrenched they roar back with defiance, take a few calm breaths and return to the simplest elements of the revised scene. Focus on a solitary detail, the warmth of a hand, the lilt of a voice, the sparkle of an eye. Ground yourself in that single sensation until the larger film reforms around it. Think of this process as gentle excavation. You remove the debris of outdated beliefs grain by grain, unearthing the treasure of possibility beneath. Patience and persistence in these small acts transform the hardest stones of memory into fertile soil for new experiences. As the subconscious adjusts to your revised record, outer events begin to mirror the new pattern. Conversations that once felt flat now hum with connection. Letters arrive bearing unexpected kindness. Paths cross in ways that affirm the revised past. Notice these coincidences as confirmations, not flukes. Each alignment is evidence that your mental edit has taken hold, guiding the flow of circumstances toward the reality you embraced in imagination. Celebrate these moments with gratitude, for gratitude cements the link between inner fiction and outer fact, ensuring that the corrections endure. This method of rewriting memories is not manipulation of objective truth, but a conscious collaboration with the creative power within you. By steering your inner dialogue and imagery toward fulfillment, you pave a smoother road for your desires to manifest. Cultivate this practice as you would any skill, regularly, with curiosity and compassion. Let each revision strengthen your trust in the unseen mechanisms that translate feeling into form. In time, you will find that the past no longer holds unyielding sway. Instead, it becomes the canvas upon which you freely paint the contours of your inevitable joy. Picture the instant when your head meets the pillow and the day's events recede into a soft echo. In that fragile space between wakefulness and sleep, a final practice can transform every whispered wish into an unshakable reality. Instead of replaying yesterday's anxieties or tomorrow's uncertainties, let gratitude become your closing mantra. Feel the pulse of gratitude thrumming through your veins, as though the love you seek were already enfolding you in its warmth. Recall the brief, imaginal scene you rehearsed. Fingers entwined, laughter echoing, a quiet look that speaks volumes. And breathe in its essence as you exhale every last trace of doubt. Sense how each heartbeat affirms the truth of your assumption, as though the unseen currents of your inner world have reached up and reshaped the outer canvas. Cultivate a deliberate pause before the mind drifts into dreams. Rest your awareness on a single phrase. Thank you for this perfect union. Let those words roll gently through your consciousness like the tide finding its way back to shore. Notice how the body responds. Shoulders soften, jaw unclenches, breath deepens. These subtle shifts signal to the deeper mind that the ceremony is complete, that desire has moved from longing into possession. By suffusing your final waking moments with gratitude, you inscribe the scene onto the subconscious with the indelible ink of thankfulness. Sleep then carries that gratitude into the fertile darkness, where intentions are woven into the fabric of unfolding reality. When morning light filters through your window, resist the urge to confront screens or distractions before anchoring your state in gratitude. Keep your eyes closed a breath longer and summon the same feeling that wrapped around you last night. Feel the living proof of affection humming behind your ribs. Allow a silent affirmation to rise. I awaken enveloped in love. With each inhalation, draw that sensation from the core of your being. With each exhalation, release any residue of fear or lack. In those first precious seconds, you set the tone for every interaction to follow. Grateful awakening is not an optional luxury, but the cornerstone of conscious creation, an unspoken contract between your inner world and the day you are about to live. Carry that gratitude into movement. As you stretch, imagine tendrils of appreciation unfurling through each muscle group, radiating from heart center to fingertips. Stand and walk as though the ground itself vibrates with your fulfilled desire. Every footfall becomes a drumbeat of celebration, every gesture a silent altar upon which thanksgiving rests. If someone greets you, greet back, as though you are meeting the visible herald of an invisible promise kept. If tasks beckon, perform them with gratitude for the ability to move, to think, to feel. Even the most mundane actions become sacred when bathed in appreciation, for gratitude transmutes ordinary matter into gold by the alchemy of consciousness. Throughout the day, anchor moments of thankfulness with simple rituals. A touch on the heart when you recall the warmth of an imagined embrace. A whispered thank you when you feel the radiance of connection in a glance. A slow sip of tea that you taste as though it were a shared celebration. Each micro-ritual serves as a beacon guiding awareness back to the reality you have assumed. Let these tokens of gratitude be discreet but deliberate, like gentle taps on the shoulder of your deeper self, reminding it that the love you manifest is not a distant horizon, but the ground beneath your feet. When challenges arise, delays, disappointments, lingering doubts, meet them first with a breath of gratitude. Acknowledge the obstacle, then silently list 3 reasons to be thankful: for the lesson it carries, for the resilience it sparks, for the opportunity to deepen your trust. By responding with gratitude rather than resistance, you neutralize the obstacle's power and allow the restful momentum of appreciation to reroute events in your favor. Remember that gratitude is not denial of imperfection, but the recognition that every circumstance holds a seed of potential aligned with your desire's fulfillment. As evening falls and you prepare once more for rest, return to the nightly rite of gratitude. Clasp the scene you create into your mind's eye and press it against your heart. Feel how genuine gratitude elevates the scene from mere fantasy into vivid reality, for the subconscious honors the feeling far more than the words. Allow the warmth of thankfulness to lull you into sleep, knowing that gratitude is the seal upon the promise you have made to yourself in the sanctuary of dreams. That seal writes itself into the blueprint of your world, ensuring that wakeful experience will one day mirror your nightly practice. In this way, gratitude becomes the silent architect of your world. It bridges the gap between imagination and manifestation, between wish and fulfillment. By living and breathing gratitude before sleep and upon waking, you train your inner world to recognize love as an accomplished fact. Each pulse of appreciation is a drumbeat calling reality into harmony with your assumption. Persist in this simple yet profound exercise, and you will discover that a world once cold responds with open arms, as though it were always yours to inhabit. Hold this moment of reflection as though standing at the summit of a lofty climb, surveying the path you have made by the power of your own attention. You have begun by declaring your true identity, I am beloved, and watch the corridors of possibility collapse in upon themselves, bringing your desire into the present. You learn to distill that desire into a 10-second scene, so vivid and charged with feeling that imagination itself became the crucible of creation. You discovered how to animate every sense, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, so that the subconscious could not distinguish rehearsal from reality, and you sank that living picture into the fertile borderland between waking and dreaming. In each dawn, you rekindled the flame by reviving that scene before the world could intrude, letting the rhythm of breath and posture broadcast your fulfilled state to every cell and circumstance. You trained yourself to notice the silent architecture of synchronicity, the planks of chance, invitations, and unexpected messages, and to step upon them with trust, turning coincidence into a deliberate bridge. When old memories stirred doubt, you became the editor of your own past, revising every hurtful scene until it served your chosen ending. Finally, you sealed the rite with gratitude, letting thankfulness ring through the final moments before sleep and the first heartbeat in morning light, inscribing the ceremony onto the deepest layers of being. Taken together, these 8 practices form a single, seamless act of conscious creation. Identity awakens the vision, the scene enlivens the feeling, the senses anchor belief, the twilight ritual sets the seed, morning devotion fans its flames, synchronicity lays the pathway, revision clears the soil, gratitude nourishes the bloom. As you weave them into your daily life, each step supports the next, and the world must yield to the pattern you hold. Persist in this art with gentle devotion, and you will find that love, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, becomes the inevitable outpicturing of the world you have trained your heart to embody.